What's going on, guys? It's that one Total Drama guy back again with another Total Drama What If. And today we're doing What If Total Drama Island had 3 teams. Now, you still have your normal teams, the Screaming Gophers and the Killer Bass, except now you have the Slithering Snakes. And now, with the new team introduced, let's get into the challenge. Now, obviously, the first part of the challenge is still going to remain the same. Most amount of people that have their team jump off the cliff will win the wagons to build the hot tub. And I think it's actually going to be the Killer Bass that has the most, because Courtney and DJ, they're still not going to jump, and Beth's still not going to jump. So those two teams can't win, and nobody from the Killer Bass didn't jump in the original, so why wouldn't they jump here? So the Killer Bass are going to win here, and as for second place, I think it's going to be the Slithering Snakes, because I believe Katie and Sadie will slow them down when they have to go to the bathroom and then they get stuck in poison ivy. This show's weird. And the Snakes are still going to have Jeff motivating their team to keep going and to build the hot tub and to beat the Screaming Gophers. And I feel like the fact that now the Screaming Gophers realize they can beat somebody, they can win. So, for the elimination, I think it's either going to be Beth, Katie, or Sadie, because Beth was the only one not to jump, and Katie and Sadie slowed them behind. And I feel like the annoying Katie and Sadie twin duo is going to be too much for their team, and they're going to vote Katie out, since they voted Katie out first last time in episode 6. I feel like Katie here, she's just going to go, and we move on to episode 3. Obviously, Sadie's still upset. So, in episode 3, I'm going to go through each individual team. On the Killer Bass, Gwen and Trent, they're still going to bond more. And as for Heather, I feel like she's going to be like, I need to get the 3 most dumbest people and make them an alliance on my team, so that way I can secure immunity. And she's going to look at Lindsay, and then she's going to look at Ezekiel and Harold. Now, Ezekiel, he hasn't said anything sexist yet. And in episode 1 and 2, originally, Harold and Ezekiel, they were talking a little bit before Ezekiel said something sexist. So I feel like those two are still going to bond a little bit. And now Heather, she has an alliance of her, Harold, Ezekiel, and Lindsay, which I think they would all agree to. And as for the Slithering Snakes, nothing much here besides, like, in the actual challenge part. It's mostly the same thing for the Screaming Gophers. Like, Sadie, she's still going to be upset the fact that Katie left, but that's pretty much it. Now, for the actual Wake-a-thon challenge here, I think it's still going to be, like, the same amount of, there's going to be the same order of people who fell asleep in the original. Katie not being here isn't really going to change much for Sadie, and Ezekiel here isn't really going to change much for anybody. Only thing is, like, Duncan, I guess, like, wouldn't make Harold pee his pants since they're not even on the same team. Now, for who wins the challenge, there isn't going to be, like, a first and second place, like how in World Tour someone wins. No. This is the first season. They're not going to have the budget for that. There's just going to be one loser, and the other 2 teams are going to be the winner. So, first team to have all their members asleep, that team is the loser, and that team's going to be the Slithering Snakes. Because the final 5 for the Wake-a-thon was Heather, Eva, Duncan, Gwen, and Trent. No people from that team is on the Slithering Snakes. And the last person on the Slithering Snakes to be eliminated was Justin, and he pinned his eyes open. So, I don't know, his team might be mad at him for that, but it is a pretty smart move, so he might earn the respect from some campers, but not most on his team. But as for the elimination, it doesn't matter if Justin did something scunny. He's hot. People will listen to him. And I think they're going to get rid of, like, the craziest person there, Izzy. Now, it's going to be easy to get the girls convinced to vote off Izzy, pretty simple. Courtney, yeah, I feel like she would fall for Justin's act at first, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, I feel like here, Izzy, she's going home. Justin will talk to the boys. He'd be like, guys, it's just strategy. Nothing to cause a fuss over. So yeah, they'll agree to vote with him, and Izzy will be eliminated here. And we move on to episode 4, the Dodgeball game. The challenge will be set up differently here because now it's going to be a circle instead of a rectangle, kinda. Like, it's just going to be, like, 3 teams all against each other. People with the last member standing wins. 5 rounds, best of 5. If you have, like, team with the least amount of wins is going to lose out of 5 rounds. So, for the first round, I think this one's obviously going to go to the Killer Bass. They have Eva. She's going to do great here. Owen, he's also going to do great, and I feel like Lashana will do pretty well. And Cody, he's also going to do pretty exceptional like he did in the original. But I just feel like Eva, she's going to do outstandingly well. And the Screaming Gophers are going to be a little bit behind since Duncan, he's not participating right now. And Noah, he is also sitting out. Gwen is still sitting out. And so for the first round, I think it's going to be the Killer Bass that win with Eva. Her help, they'll do good. Screaming Gophers, they're going to be do a little bad since Tyler and Lindsay, they're doing pretty bad. Second round, Tyler's going to be like, all right, give me all the balls, I'll win for us. So everybody gives Tyler their You know what? I'm not going to finish that sentence. Tyler has all the dodgeballs. He does really bad at it. Their team's not going to win again. I feel like here with the Slithering Snakes, they're going to strategize later and they're going to go for Eva. And with that, they get another win. Third round of the game, Tyler, he's going to go off of Lindsay. So that's another member down. So now either Duncan or Noah have to step up here. And Duncan was like, if you wake me, you're dead. So here, Noah's actually going to have to play. And the Screaming Gophers, they're still going to do bad. So I think this one's going to go to the Killer Bass again. So that's 2 for the Killer Bass, 1 for the Slithering Snakes, and 1 for the Screaming Gophers. Now, this is where LaShawna snaps. She's going to be like, all right, Duncan, wake up. You're going to work for our team or else you're going to be one of them getting eliminated. And Noah, actually try for once. And here, Duncan's going to be like, all right, guys, now we got to strategize. Also, the Killer Bass are out of this challenge. They already won 2. They can't lose. So they're already out of the challenge. Like I said, there's no winner. There's just always going to be a second place. So, Killer Bass, they're done. It's just the Slithering Snakes against the Screaming Gophers. And Duncan's going to start to strategize. And here, I feel like they would just, keep Noah in and, take maybe Sadie out. I don't know. And they're actually going to win this one. And then for the second match, Tyler's going to come back from Lindsay because Heather, she got mad about the alliance. He's going to be like, all right, guys, I'm here to save the day. And Tyler, he's going to try to lead the team, but everybody's going to want Duncan to lead the team. So if you like Tyler and Duncan arguing the entire time is what's going to cause them to lose. Because Cody, he's really exceptional. The way he hit DJ with that curve around back, that was exceptional. But I feel like Cody and Owen, I feel like that would be a good match if Cody and Owen had the dodgeball fight. But that's not what we're here about. I feel like the fact that the Screaming Gophers are not united as much, they're going to lose the challenge, and that means Slithering Snakes have 2 wins, Screaming Gopher has 1 win, Killer Bass has 2 wins. So the Screaming Gophers are going to lose, but before we get into the elimination ceremony, I feel like here Ezekiel's going to be like, I don't understand how we got first place. We're the one with 3 points while the other teams have 4. And then he's going to say there was a sexist comment, everybody's going to get mad at him, and then him, Harold, and probably even Heather here, or they're going to have a talk. So we've moved to the elimination ceremony, and I feel like here, most people are going to vote Tyler, maybe some people vote Noah, but Tyler here is going to be the majority of the votes. I only had to go in depth on who's going to vote for who. Now, for the talent show contest, here are the 3 acts that are going to be happening in each team. Heather, she's still going to do her act, Trent's going to do his act, and here Eva, she'll do some cool weightlifting thingy. For the Slithering Snakes, Justin, he's still going to do his act. DJ will do his act, and instead of having Bridget do her act, Courtney will do her act, and even if, Bridget, if Courtney breaks her violin, they'll still have Jeff to do his act before Bridget throwing up on everybody. Now, for the Screaming Gophers, we have Owen doing the burping of the ABCs, and then I feel like here, Duncan, he could be able to do something cool. Maybe carve his skull into, an apple, like he's seen before. He has good knife tricks. And Beth, she's going to do her fire baton, but this time they'll just, say, don't throw it in the air and then try to catch it, since you don't know the catching lesson. So the team I feel like that's going to do the worst here, Killer Bass, because Heather's still going to read Gwen's diary, and then it's all going to go wrong. Trent's going to do pretty good. Heather, it's going to do pretty bad. For the Slithering Snakes, DJ, it's going to do mediocre. Justin's going to do really good. And I feel like Jeff's skateboarding will do pretty good. Screaming Gophers, Owen's burping the ABCs will do exceptionally well. Pep's fire thing I think will do pretty good, and Duncan will do pretty mediocre. So it's going to be, pretty close here, but I feel like reading someone's diary is going to be pretty bad. But I feel like here they would save Eva's trick for last. And I feel like Noah, the strategy guy he's going to ask the criminal Duncan to steal Eva's MP3 player, which causes Eva to go ballistic and her performance to do bad, which causes the Killer Bass to lose and them having to vote someone off. Obviously, it's going to be between Heather and Eva since Heather read Gwen's diary. But I feel like Heather, with her 4-person alliance, she's able to get Eva eliminated, and we move on to episode 6. Hey guys, this is Editing James here. Now, for captions to be able to be in the video, I have to now record the video through CapCut's thing, because now captions became pro in the middle of me editing this video. Nothing much is really going to change. The only thing that's going to matter is just going to see a little bar that says what point of the video it's at. It's going to keep repeating since I edited this video in multiple segments, but just let's get back into the video. Now, for this episode, Justin, he's going to be a little bit of a strategic little mate. He's going to go over to Sadie, and Sadie's obviously still finds Justin attractive, and she's going to say, Sadie, you want to go on a walk with me? And he tells his team he'll meet up with them later for the camping episode. So once that he's going to abandon Sadie, he's going to meet up back with his camp. Sadie, she's going to get lost, she's going to go to the cave again. and she's not going to be able to make it back in time for her team. So the Screaming Gophers, they're going to lose this challenge, and obviously they're going to vote off Sadie here. And we move on to episode 7. This is the Phobia Factor Challenge. Now, some of these people, they weren't here, so we don't know their fears. So I'm going to make some up for them. But I'll go through each team, and I'll put them up here if they do face their fear. So, as for Noah, I feel like his greatest fear right now gonna be kissing Cody. Yeah, we're going there. I don't think he's gonna be able to do that one. Lashana, she doesn't do her fear last time. Beth, she did. Owen, he did. Duncan's fear, Celine Dion music store standees. I think I said that right. I feel like here, instead of like how Courtney did it, I feel like Lashana would be like, come on, Duncan, it's a statue thing. It's a cardboard cutout. Just do it. Instead of like taking it slow the way Courtney did, Lashana's going to be rough and harsh, and I feel like that'll still help Duncan complete the challenge. As for the killer bass, Ezekiel's fear is going to be confronting a female, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Even with Harold's help, I still don't think Ezekiel's at that point yet. Harold, when he faces off the ninjas, I don't think it counted in the episode, even though like he did it, I don't think it actually counted. For Lindsay, she's going to be walking through a minefield in heels because Sadie was the one that gave her the idea of having a bad haircut, and she is not going to be able to do that. Heather, she still faces off the sumo wrestler. And Trent, he still goes in the water away from the mine. And Gwen still gets buried alive, and Trent and Gwen argue a little bit. As for the slithering snakes, I feel like Justin's greatest fear is going to be being ugly, which he will not be able to do. Cody doesn't defuse the bomb, which causes Bridget to go away from the forest. Jeff, he doesn't finish the hail. And with that, it doesn't even matter which these two do, since Courtney, she still doesn't go in the slime. But I do think DJ will complete his challenge. But either way, slithering snakes lose, and we move on to the elimination ceremony. Now here for the elimination ceremony, I feel like everybody's going to explain like why they didn't do their fears. And Bridget, she's going to be like, I saw this like monster in the woods, a bunch of trash all over it. And then Cody's going to be like, oh yeah, that was me. And then I feel like here people are going to blame Cody, because if Bridget did her task. I'm sorry, this is editing James, and I'm editing all the captions right now. And then when I heard of task, I just thought Among Us. Okay, let's get back into the video. I'm sorry this took so long, I'm tired. They might have been able to win if it weren't for Cody. So I feel like here some people would vote off Cody. Jeff would be defending Bridget here. And I feel like Cody, obviously, he would vote for Bridget. And Courtney, I feel like she would side for Bridget on this one. DJ as well. I feel like most people here, they would just vote off Cody. Episode 8. So for the actual challenge part of the episode, Beth, she still takes the cursed idol thingy home. Harold, he still burns all their paddles to make the fire. So the killer bass here, since they don't have anyone strong like DJ, and since Izzy's here to not even suggest the idea, here the killer bass are just going to lose. But for the other teams, DJ and Jeff, they still work out their issues. Feel here, Owen and Noah, they're getting closer together as friends. Duncan, he's going on his own thing. Lashana, she's peckering him. Bashana and Beth, they're showing a little bit of friendship like they did in Island. But as for the elimination here, Heather's going to be super mad at Harold for burning all the paddles. She's going to want him gone. But Ezekiel, kind of going to friendship with him, he's trying to helping him through his sexist ideals. He's going to want to vote off Heather. And so I feel like Gwen and Trent, they'll be able to get this. Lindsay, I feel like she would still vote for Harold, but it's a majority, so Heather here, she's eliminated. Now, for episode 9, there's only going to be 2 hunters and 3 deer, so the first 3 for each team, those are the deer, last 2, those are the hunters. You can see everyone out here right now. So, for the Screaming Gophers, Duncan, he did pretty good last time. Owen, and now being a deer, obviously I feel like he's going to get shot. Noah will just hide behind Owen. So only one person will probably be eliminated from the Screaming Gophers. As for the slithering snakes, Justin, he can't get paint on this perfect bod, so when painters come to get him, he's going to use Courtney as a shield. So both of them are going to get eliminated. DJ, obviously, he still do good, so that's 2 for the slithering snakes. Obviously, Courtney's going to be upset. For the killer bass, only person I really see getting shot here is Lindsay, and besides that, they're pretty good. So, slithering snakes, they're going to lose here, and I feel like this is when Justin is just getting on everybody's nerves. I mean, he did use Courtney as a shield, and like how Rhea used Ripper as a shield, people don't like that well. So I don't think Justin's going to be able to vote, like, convince any of the girls, because Bridget's with Jeff right now. So we move on to episode 10. This is the cooking episode. This episode's very simple. Owen eats the food still. Doesn't matter what they make. Doesn't even matter if it's good. I feel like Owen here, he's still gonna eat the food. For Jeff's team, they're still gonna go for like their Italian steam thing. Bridget and Courtney, they become a little bit more friends. You know, DJ and Jeff, they're still gonna hang out. Lindsay, she's kind of on her own here, but Owen, he eats the food. And unfortunately here, I feel like Lashana, Beth, and Duncan both vote off Owen. Owen and Noah, they're pretty close. They would try to vote off like Lashana, but Duncan, he's gone a little too close to Lashana to not vote her out, so they vote off Owen instead. And we move on to episode 11. And if you don't believe Duncan would vote Owen, I don't think Owen would win in the tiebreaker for Lashana. So in episode 11, this is like the 5 challenge episode. So this time it's only actually going to be 3 parts since there's less amount of members on each team. It's going to be the rock wall challenge, the poisonous blowfish, and the final sled challenge. So here we go. First off, rock challenge is going to be Duncan, who's going to carry Noah climbing the rock wall. Trent, who's going to be carrying Gwen up, who's going to have like the ropes for Gwen. And Courtney's going to be carrying the ropes for DJ when he's climbing up. So here, I think Courtney, she would get distracted by the hot sauce. Those two would lose. Same thing happened with Duncan as it had in the original. Those two would lose. So Gwen is the only one that wins here. For the cooking challenge, it's going to be Lashana and Beth, Lindsay and Ezekiel, Jeff and Bridget. Bridget, she still does amazing. She makes a sushi. Lashana, I feel like she would do okay here. So I feel like both of them are going to score a point. Lindsay, she still fails. So it's a tied up game. And now it comes down to the final challenge of DJ, Jeff, Harold, and Gwen, and Duncan and Beth. Now here, Jeff lost DJ's bunny. So DJ's going to be real upset now. And now that Duncan doesn't find him a new bunny, he's still going to be upset. And they're going to lose the challenge here. And the other two are going to win, which means Slithering Snakes are going to lose. And they had to vote somebody off. Now, obviously, DJ, he's going to be upset with Jeff. He lost his bunny. You know, his prized possession. All right, man, I'll vote for whoever you want. And Bridget was also responsible for helping Jeff lose the bunny since she distracted him. So both of them agree, we'll vote for whoever DJ wants. So they decided to get rid of Courtney, which means Courtney here is eliminated. And we move on to episode 12. Now, this episode's really easy. We just have to go for the final 2 since I don't think Ezekiel, Noah, or Beth are really going to make like a difference here. So the final 2 here, it was Gwen and Jeff, which means those 2 teams win and the Screaming Gophers lose. Duncan, he still gets Chef angry. Sean and him have a talk, and since Lashana's a little bit friends with Beth, they decide to vote out Noah. But then Noah here, he's gonna be scrambling for anything to help him win, and then he's gonna find Beth's totem that she got from Boney Island. She'll be like, Beth, why do you have this? And then Beth's gonna say that she got the totem for Boney Island, and that's been cursing them, and it's the reason that they're gonna believe it's the reason they lost the challenge. So they're all gonna vote Beth. We move on to episode 13, the Extreme Sports Challenge. Okay, so for this part of the challenge, first part where they jump off the plane, skydive into the bed. For the killer bass, Trent's still jumping, and since Owen isn't here, I feel like these 4, they have enough people where they're able to push the bed. Trent, he lands safely. As for DJ, his team only has 2 people, and that is Jeff and Bridget. I don't think they're going to be strong enough, so I don't think they're going to make it for DJ. His team doesn't win the point. As for the Screaming Gophers, they have Duncan and Lashana, 2 of the strongest people left right now. So I think they will be able to push the bed. So that's 1 point Killer Bass, 1 point Screaming Gophers. As for the second part of the challenge, the bowl, it's going to be Lashana, Jeff, and Ezekiel. And I think here Lashana, she's going to win. The other 2 are going to fly off. So that's 2 points for Screaming Gophers, 1 for Killer Bass, 0 for the Snakes. Now for the final mud racing collecting flags, there's going to be no driver. There's just going to be someone who collects all the flags. So here, I think the Killer Bass is going to win. We already know Lindsay and Harold, they do exceptionally well. So either one here, they're going to win. And now Harold, he doesn't get distracted. So Killer Bass, they get 2 points. Screaming Gophers, they have 2 points. Slithering Snakes, they have 0. They have to vote somebody off. So this elimination, it all hinges on who Jeff votes for. Is he going to vote off his best friend DJ or his girlfriend Bridget? Gals before pals kind of deal. And I feel like here, Jeff, he's going to make the really hard decision, and he's going to vote for himself. So Chris is going to be like, all right, first time on the show ever, we have a freeway tie. So, I'm feeling lucky tonight. We're halfway through. You guys all get to stay in, and there will be no elimination tonight. So, there's no elimination here, and we move on to episode 14. This is the Boys Against Girls episode, so obviously, all the boys here against all the girls here. It's a little uneven by a little bit. But again, it's no elimination, non-elimination, so we move on to the merge, and here is when we have to bring in two characters. Now, the two people I want to bring back. First off, Eva, that stays normal, but this time, Izzy, she didn't get hunted down by the Royal Navy Mountain Police, whatever, I think it was the RCMP. She didn't get hunted down by them. She was normally eliminated, so she can't come back. That was kind of like her excuse for coming back, that she never really left the island. Here, she left the island, so she can't come back. So I feel like they're going to bring out the person that will bring the most drama, I guess besides Eva in the producer's eyes, Heather. So Heather and Eva are back, and obviously Harold, Gwen, Trent, they're all going to be upset. Ezekiel, Lindsay's going to be pretty happy. She's been on her own for a very long time now because of the whole Gwen and Trent and Harold and Ezekiel thing. So, in episode 15, this is like the torture challenge here. I don't think Noah or Ezekiel or Harold or anybody else ever that's here that wasn't in the original that I forgot about is going to pull up much of a threat. So I still think Lashana's going to beat Eva, but except instead of getting really mad at Bridget, I feel like here Eva is just going to be really mad at Heather. So I feel like she'll get some fans because of that, because some people are very mad at Heather. So basically the elimination, it comes down to Eva or Heather. So let's go through it. As the votes for Heather, obviously it's going to be Harold, Gwen, Trent, and Ezekiel. Here, I feel like Noah, realizing he has nobody left, he was really close to being eliminated in episode 12, he's going to make an alliance with Heather. He's going to be like, alright, you're really unpopular, I'll try to get people to vote off Eva, because that's the only way you're going to be able to be safe. Obviously here, Lindsay, she's still going to vote against Eva, Heather's going to vote against Eva, Noah will vote against Eva, and here I feel like Noah is going to be talking to Lashana. Eva was really close to beating you, she's really aggressive, I feel like you guys should vote her off first. And I feel like whoever Lashana votes for, Duncan will also vote for her. Now here, I feel like Bridget, she's going to vote for Heather, because when her and Gwen were on the same team, I feel like Gwen would at least mention once that Heather was a bad person. And I feel like Bridget and Heather, they wouldn't get along that well. Now, as for the boys, I feel like here Jeff is still on the thing where, like, he will vote for whoever DJ votes for. I feel like here DJ would vote Eva over Heather, since she's a little messed up. So, Eva gets eliminated by one vote, and Heather is saved, owing it all to Noah. At this point of the video, I'm going to ask you to subscribe, because I normally don't do this, I'm sorry, but we are really close to 1,000 subscribers, and I really want that subscriber goal, so please subscribe. I'm basically begging at this point. We need like 3 more subscribers at the time of recording this. But let's get into episode 16 here. So I still feel like Heather, she's going to win immunity, as always. Even though it's a random chance, Heather, she still has to get the key from Chef. She's going to win immunity, so none of the challenge doesn't really matter. Now, Heather, she still wants Gwen and Trent to break up. You know, they've been getting really close. She still wants them to break up. So, and this is like before she finds out she has immunity. So Noah's like, you know, like, trying to kiss Trent, that's just going to make you look like the bad guy. You don't have immunity. People are just going to vote you. How about instead you just vote one of them off to separate them? And I'm just going to be like, oh yeah, I can do that. And as a bonus, she gains immunity. So now it's basically going to be from Trent, and I'll get over the other candidate. So it's going to be Heather, Noah, Lindsay. Now here, I think Noah's going to tell Heather, look, if you don't want people voting against you, you got to help out others. So I feel like here, Heather, she's going to help out DJ with his key. She's going to help out Jeff with his key for, like, the toilet, which is going to be disgusting for her. And maybe she'll just get Noah to do it, but she's going to find a way to do it either way. So like there, that'll cause those two to help vote with her. Now, as for who the other people are going to vote for, I feel like the name Ezekiel is going to come up, because Ezekiel was pretty sexist, and Lashana, she didn't really like that much. She like her and Duncan to go vote off Ezekiel. I feel like Gwen hearing the fact that people are voting off Ezekiel, not knowing who to vote off, will just hop on that train, and so will Bridget. Which means Trent here is going to be eliminated, which is going to completely blindside everybody, and then Gwen's going to realize it was Heather, and she's going to be very upset, but Gwen and Trent are going to leave on good terms. Now we move on to the hide-and-seek challenge here. Now, for this episode, Duncan, I feel like he's not going to make his boys' alliance. He's kind of close to Lashana. He doesn't really got anything else he needs right now. But I feel like here, Noah, he's going to make the Geek Alliance between him, Ezekiel, and Harold, making an official alliance. Now he has 2 alliance members. Well, 4 alliance members. He has 2 different alliances. So, as for the actual hide-and-seek challenge, still, I think Heather and LaShawn, they're going to win immunity. Heather, she's going to find somebody. And LaShawn, she's going to do really good at hiding. Here, I feel like Noah, he's going to be very good at finding somebody. But everybody else, I still think is going to get eliminated. And then they have to vote somebody off. I feel like Ezekiel's name still is going to be on the chopping block. But then Ezekiel, I feel like here he's going to say, I'm sorry for my past remarks. I feel like I'm a more changed man. If there's anything I can do to prove it, I will. And I feel like there, Lashana, she's going to forgive him. And here, I feel like Ezekiel, he'll fall in the water, see Lashana, and keeps Lashana secret, which gains Lashana's trust. And they're going to have to go to find another person to vote off here. So now, I believe that now it's going to be Harold that the other member is going to vote for. And on Heather's alliance, I feel like they're going to vote off Jeff. He's too popular. He's too much of a threat. So Heather, Noah, Lindsay, Ezekiel, and Harold, they're all going to vote off Jeff. As for who's going to vote off Harold, I think it's going to be Duncan, Lashana, Bridget, DJ. Now Gwen, when there were 6 people left and there was like her and Jeff, I forget which episode it was, like she at first really didn't like Jeff. And they haven't bonded yet, so I feel like here she's still going to vote off Jeff instead of Harold. So, and since they don't really have anyone else to vote off since Heather has immunity, unfortunately, it is going to be Jeff's time to go, and we are going to move on to episode 18. This is going to be the Dirt Bike Race Challenge, so let's get into it. So, as for the people that crash their bikes, and as for the people that are going to be able to build good bikes, Lindsay just still builds Heather's bike, and she still builds a bike of her own. Those 2 are going to do pretty good. For Noah, I think it's going to be pretty okay. He's going to do pretty alright. I don't think he's going to be, like, the best in the world. Like, he's going to be the best guy to build a bike. But I feel like he's going to do pretty okay with his smarts. Harold, I think he'll also do okay. I don't think he's going to crash the first round. As for DJ, I still think he's going to crash. Lashana, now that Izzy isn't really here, I think she's going to crash. She's not going to build a very good bike. And I also fear the same thing is going to go for Ezekiel. And as for Bridget, she's going to be really upset that Jeff's gone. I feel like she won't do that good of a job. So these are the people that remain. And also Gwen, her bike is still going to crash. These are the 5 that remain. So, like, as for the challenge, Duncan, here, he still wipes out. He's gone. So now it's just these 4 left. And last person gets eliminated. So, here's what I think is going to happen. Harold, I think his bike is going to be good, but not the best. So I think here, Harold, he is going to wipe out. And so now it's between Heather, Lindsay, and Noah. And Noah here, he's going to have to sacrifice Lindsay for his own safety here. Because Heather, she's going to use like the specialty thing. She's going to win. And Noah, he's going to have to sacrifice Lindsay. So Lindsay here is going to be eliminated. She's going to get really mad at Heather. She's going to get really mad at Noah, exposing Noah. Since Noah here, he was kind of like under the radar. No one like fully knew that he was like in an alliance with Heather. So that's going to throw off his alliance with Harold and Ezekiel. So Noah has now been exposed and Lindsay has been eliminated. As for episode 19, I still think it's going to be DJ that gets like scared the most. Like, I still think that it's going to stay the same. So for this episode, we're actually going to be switching episode 20 with episode 21. Because by the time episode 21 rolls around, we will have an odd number, so they can't be in pairs. And episode 20 was like the tripod like challenge where the people had groups with handcuffs. So the pairs are going to be Ezekiel, Harold, Duncan, Gwen, Bridget, Lashana, Heather, and Noah. And here's what I think is going to happen. Here's the conversations I think is going to happen. Gwen's going to kind of talk to Duncan how she's upset that Heather got Trent eliminated. Bridget's going to talk to Lashana about how she's upset that Jeff's eliminated. Ezekiel and Harold, they're just going to be talking. Noah and Heather, they're going to be strategizing. But for the actual challenge part, like the actual challenges. Alright, so for the first challenge, the eating one, I do think this is going to go to the Lashana and Bridget power team here. Because I feel like here, Bridget, she's like a vegetarian. She's not going to want to eat some of the food, so Lashana will eat it. And I feel like she'll be a pretty good eater. She wasn't that bad of an eater in like the food challenge in episode 14. So here, I think she'll do pretty okay. So that's 1 point for their team. Now, Noah here, he realizes that the only way he's going to be able to win is if he throws Heather underneath the bus here. So he's going to purposely fail most of their challenges. So for the next challenge for Boney Island, the team that I think is going to have like the best at this would be either Lashana or Bridget or Duncan and Gwen. Since I feel like Duncan and Gwen, they'll work together really well. So I feel like those two, they're going to get a point. So it's 1 point Duncan and Gwen, 1 point Lashana and Bridget. For the final challenge, the people that I think that have the best memory is probably going to be Noah. But like I said, Noah, he's trying to lose his challenge so that way he can throw Heather underneath the bus. Second people, I have Lashana and Duncan. They both had good memory. And I feel like here, Bridget, she wouldn't have that well memory of the other teams. Gwen, she might. For Harold and Ezekiel, I don't know. But it doesn't really matter who wins this one. Because if it is Duncan and Gwen, that doesn't matter. They're not on the chopping block. Heather is. So, for the elimination, Noah, he's basically just going to be like, okay, so I know I was mean. I know Lindsay kind of outed me out here. So, I'll vote Heather against all you guys to try to make it up for you guys. So, most of the people, they're going to vote off Heather, and she is eliminated. Now, for episode 21, we did switch the challenges for episode 20 and episode 21, just because now there's going to be an odd number of contestants in episode 21. But this challenge actually doesn't matter, because in the original, Gwen, she won the challenge, and yet she can be seen in the bottom two. I'm not going to play the clip again, because my last island video I already played the clip, so I don't want to be redundant. But she was in the final two with Izzy, so the winner of this challenge actually doesn't matter, and it's just going to be like a personal vote. And here, I think Duncan, he's going to go back to that bullying arc with Harold, like he would bully Harold. And it's still, so here, I feel like Harold, he's going to be one people are going to want to get rid of. So I feel like Duncan, Shauna, and Noah just hopping on the train, not trying to get eliminated, and Gwen, kind of growing closer to Duncan, are all going to vote off Harold here, which unfortunately means Harold is eliminated. He did pretty good, he got pretty far, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. Episode 22 sucks. The elimination sucks. Katie and Sadie, like, hey, we're gonna vote off Lashana, have fun. Like, there's so much easier ways of writing her off. Like, have Heather win a challenge, and then, like, she gets her revenge on Lashana or something. Like, oh my god. But, we move on to episode 23. Now, this episode has to be elimination challenge instead of Owen just, like, getting obsessed with Mr. Coconut and Mr. Coconut being the one eliminated. So, here, they all get stranded. They try to work together. Now here, I feel like Noah's snarkiness is going to get under Duncan's skin a little with his rough exterior attitude, and he's going to be really upset now that Lashana's gone. And also, I think Ezekiel's going to fly under the radar as some guy who's just not going to be able to win from how dumb he is. But it is going to be no immunity because they're all going to come out from the woods, and Chris is going to be like, oh, you ruined my special day of chef. You all are up for elimination now. So here, I feel like it's important to vote off the biggest threat, which is either going to be Duncan or Noah. Now here, I feel like the girls, they're going to make a little girls alliance here and realize if it came to like a strength challenge, Duncan would probably be the bigger threat. So unfortunately here, I think Duncan will be eliminated by Noah, Gwen, Bridget. I don't feel like Ezekiel would have any contrivances against Duncan. I feel like he would vote for whoever he wanted to vote for. But it is enough votes against Duncan, which means Duncan is eliminated, and we move on to episode 24. This is the Chef Challenge, where it's going to be Ezekiel and Noah versus Bridget and Gwen. So, out of these two, I think it's actually going to be Bridget and Gwen that do the best, because Noah, look at him. He's a scrawny guy. I don't think he's going to do very good. And Ezekiel, he isn't going to provide much health. So, it's either... I think it's Chef who decides who's eliminated. It's never made clear how Duncan gets eliminated originally. I think it's implied Chef did it. And if it's not, either way, I think it's Noah's time to go. Either the girls will vote him off for being too strategic, or Chef's going to vote him off for being too scrawny. So either way, Noah's time to go, and we move on to episode 25. As for the I Triple Dog Dare You, I feel like the person who would be able to withstand like the most dares would be Ezekiel here. So I feel like Ezekiel has made his spot into the final challenge. Now, as for the person that will be booted secondly, I think it's going to unfortunately be Bridget, which means our final two are Gwen and Ezekiel. I feel like we've had this final two already. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm sorry this video took so long to take out. I've had some personal stuff going on, and this video is just a big hassle to get over with. But I finally got it done, and I want to talk about this venture camp and us hitting 1,000 subscribers. But I'll see you in the next one. take care and goodbye.